Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be showing off some of the Azure AD protection for information. So it's actually Azure Information Protection. It's their data loss platform for documents. So let's take a look. I've already logged into my demo tenant here, and I've added the blade for Azure Information Protection. But you can also get to it just by searching. Up here, it should pop up. Yep, it's there. It's also, if you want to browse through the services, you can find it here and then pin it. There's just so much stuff here. So I always pin the stuff I commonly use over on the left here. So anyway, here's the information protection. The idea here is that you have some labels on your documents, and you can have these labels applied by the users as they're editing documents. Also, you can set up Azure Information Protection to scan your documents and apply labels automatically. So there's a client application that plugs into the Office applications. I'll just pull Word over here and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. What you get when you install that is this little button up here in your ribbon where you have some labels. And these labels are all configured in Azure, and then the employees are able to see these. These are also located right here. So if an employee is working on a personal document, they can just tag it as such, edit their document. They don't need to worry about it. However, if it's a confidential or highly confidential, and then of course you can remove these and customize them to your own needs. You may want to do like low business impact or high business impact. There's other labels for departments that maybe you want certain people to see. So you can do that. And we're going to get into how to do that. So here's some labels here that a lot of these come just by default. The personal, public, general, confidential, highly confidential, those all come out of the box. There's a couple that have been added here, the credit card data and social security numbers. And then there's some templates also that have been created. So let's just look at, let's look at the personal one. So this is a label that's been set up. It's enabled, it's personal, non-business, personal only data. You can choose a button color there. You can select from the list here, or if you've got hex numbers, you can put those in there too. There's permissions for documents because this is just a personal, obviously we're not going to put permissions around it. There's document visual markings that you can put onto the documents that have these labels applied. So if you'd like to have a header on every document with a certain type of label or a footer, you have the ability to create a watermark. So if it's, do not print or something like that, you can have a watermark right on the document there. That'll be kind of a visual indicator to your employees that they shouldn't be printing. There's some conditions. There's no condition set here because this is public, no notes. So this is just a basic label that's not really doing anything at all, other than just kind of showing what it's for. However, if we go look at our social security numbers label, ooh, this one's not protected actually. Let's look at that. So we can protect these with keys. You can do a hold your own key. So this has some limitations. This would be more for if you have a private key and you have on-premises documents that you want to protect. You can apply those here. There's some user-defined permissions that they can select. The limitations, if you go out there, there's TechNet articles about those limitations. The Office 365 services are not able to decrypt these. This is more for certain compliances where they don't want cloud services to be able to decrypt those documents. So just be aware of that. So, but for most things, you're gonna choose Azure. You can set permissions. You can do it by lists, so groups, say, social security numbers, maybe HR and I don't know, maybe some accounting people. You want to have them have access only. This is where you would do that. You can also set some permissions on the document where they can't reply to it, or I don't know why they wouldn't want to, but this is the important one. They can't forward it off to other people. They can't export it, things like that. So this is important for some of those more sensitive documents. You'd probably want to apply those things. Content expiration, that's going to be how long the users that you've defined here can access the document. So say you have a sensitive document, you only want them to access it for a certain number of days, you can set that here. And then allow offline access. You can set it so, you know, this document can only be viewed if they're online, otherwise it won't open. So there's some of those protections there. So that's kind of the labels. And then there's policies that you can create. So there's a global policy here. This is just a default. And basically there's, you know, this is, the policy is not all documents have to have a label. Obviously, this is a good global policy because if you're not wanting to label your personal documents, then you don't want to contradict that here. But yeah, there's, you know, display the office bar, the do not forward, things like that. So you can play around with the policy here. You can create a new policy. It's basically the same settings. So you can apply certain policies to certain people. You can make policies just for certain labels. So if you want a policy to apply to credit card data, for instance, you do that here and then you know, toggle your settings and create, you know, which users have this policy applied. So yeah, this is a sort of a high-level overview of the DLP solution for Microsoft. I just want to take a minute and show you guys this stuff. There's some other things that are in preview that I'd suggest you go look at, but it's kind of out of scope for this. So hope you guys have a great weekend, and thanks for coming to another 5 Minute Fridays. Bye.